no money changing hands. Just two soldiers speaking the truth. Help me. Help me to do this. That's it, I have to leave now. You don't shoot him, millions will die.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Battlefield 3 hard difficulty video walkthrough. This is the Thunder Run, and this is the tank level that you were all waiting for. And it's really long and it's really boring, but that's just my personal opinions on it. You might love it. And this tank, for whatever reason, nobody told me that we'd got this, but apparently this tank regenerates. When you get hit by other tanks and by rockets and things, it'll come up with a warning sign on your HUD, and if you don't get hit for a while, it will eventually go away, thus, regenerating your life. It's a lot slower than it is your usual HUD when you're on foot, but it does work. And apparently the enemies don't have these kind of tanks, so they can't do it, which is a shame, but it helps you a lot. And when I first played this mission, I originally tried to play it like I would Call of Duty 2, which is driving around like an idiot while shooting at enemies to try not to get insta-killed, because it was difficult. On this, the more you move, the more you get shot. It makes no sense. So what I like to do is I like to park up, preferably behind another tank on my team, so they take all the shots I should have taken, and then I just pick my shots on the rest of people. You do not have to compensate for distance with this cannon. Wherever the dot is, the bullet will go. You do sometimes have to lead the tanks, because obviously it does have to travel to them, and if they're traveling fast, it goes for longer, thus you have to accentuate this. But this is very easy. It's a long mission that is unnecessarily long and not very enjoyable. If you're a Battlefield fanatic, this is probably your favourite mission of the game. To me, it's dull and boring and takes no skill. So I'm going to talk about some other things just to try and mix it up a little bit and make it a bit more enjoyable than this. But there's the warning symbol. Make sure you get behind another tank to stop yourself from getting shelled, and you'll eventually regenerate. And it's just, monkey see, monkey do in tanks. It's that simple. So, what I'm going to talk about anyway, people, is a little bit of gaming news. As anybody that's watched a lot of my videos will know, I randomly go over the news, my views on it, and what I think, and all that good stuff. And it's just going to be another one of those. Nothing too tropical, nothing too different. I'm out of subjects to talk about because I'm a boring person, so I thought I'd get some inspiration from some news articles. And the first website I'm on is Xbox360achievements.org. It's a fantastic site for anybody that likes games, achievements, or just reading idiots' opinions on things. There's a lot of good opinions. That's not me condemning the entire forum. There's some really intelligent, cool guys. There's also some douchebags, just like everywhere. Just like YouTube. And the first bit of news we've got on here is about Risen, which I really don't care about, so I'm not going to be checking that out. Then it's rock band tracks for next week are from Breaking Benjamin and Papa Roach. So the first thing is, I didn't even realise Breaking Benjamin was still a band, because every album sounds the same, so I assumed they'd only had one, died, and then everybody played it on repeat out of respect. But apparently not. And Papa Roach, I mean, they're a chameleon when it comes to music these days. They started out as a nu metal band, they went towards being like a rock band, then they went towards being like a rappy rock band, then they went towards being like a U2 rock band, and they're probably ABBA too now, who knows? So, no idea what's going on with that. Then we've got Assassin's Creed Revelations Den Defense video gets tactical. So we're going to have tower defense in Assassin's Creed, which if it's anything like Horde mode from Gears or Plants vs Zombies, that can only be a good thing. Then after that we've got BioWare looking at possible Mass Effect 3 multiplayer DLC. So let's have a see what this is on about, because the multiplayer in Mass Effect is a controversial subject for everybody that absolutely hates multiplayer in games, and there are many people that feel that way, especially unnecessary multiplayer, darkness. But let's have a look at this. So, BioWare has confirmed that it's looking into the possibility of doing some multiplayer DLC. And it says it'll all hinge upon how the audience reacts to the Galaxy at War co-op mode. And here it says, which Dan found rather disappointing during his recent hands-on. God, I wish I worked for one of these websites. I want to go to these developers. I want to play these games early. Send me! We do intend to have DLC for multiplayer, but we really want to get the game out there and get feedback before we do. So it's just the possibility on, you know, making some money and giving some additional content if it's well received, which is a good thing in my eyes. And then we've got Battlefield 3, Back to Karkand map pack gets new screens. So this is kind of topical. We should read this. Funny story as well. I was looking inside the box for an instruction manual, like some archaic relic from a different era, because these days it's just one sheet telling you not to swallow the pad. And I noticed that there was a little leaflet that mentioned this DLC, and I thought, because I'd bought the game on day, you know, brand new, I thought I got a code that'd get me the DLC for free, so I was kind of happy. I'd not read what it was. Turns out it's just the multiplayer pass, and they're trying to sell me more Battlefield. God damn it! So here we go. You'll no doubt be keen to know when this expansion pack comes out, which brings in the 4 classic Battlefield 2 maps remastered for Battlefield 3. So I didn't play Battlefield 2, so it doesn't mean anything to me. And apparently you're going to get a bunch of new vehicles and 5 new achievements that unlock 10 iconic Battlefield weapons. You see, this is kind of cool, because not only do you get maps from an old game, which sure is kind of cheap, and my first defense of this is they're not just cosmetic changes, they're engine changes, so everything has probably been rebuilt and redesigned within the new framework. And I don't know how different Frostbite 1 to Frostbite 2 is. It might be a lot easier than I'm making out, but at least they've tried to upscale it. And then on top of that, you've got new vehicles, which is cool, I suppose, if you like vehicles, and vehicles in multiplayer are fun, and then new achievements and new weapons. Any other game would have put all this separately, so you've got to at least respect DICE for framing it the way they have. That's the one thing that Battlefield gets right. It knows its community and it doesn't try to rob them, which is really nice. But it just generally looks like random Eastern European, very sandy grey village, town, city thing. But if you've played the maps before, you probably know a hell of a lot about them, so good news for some, not so good news for anybody else. Then the next bit of news is the Gears of War 3 event brings Boom Snipes and Halloween Shock. So, I've no idea what these events are, but I should be playing in them to work towards my Onyx, and I keep forgetting. I'm just so busy, it's unbelievable. So what have we got here? We have... So Boom Snipes is in the playlist for Team Deathmatch. Your default weapon loadout will be Boom Shot and Long Shot, and all the drops in the map will be a mixture of both, which is kind of interesting, I guess. And the Halloween Surprise is a cosmetic adjustment that will happen on Halloween, so they're probably going to put some pumpkins and shit in some of the level design, which is a cool idea. It's nice to see them showing interest, and that's the cool thing about Epic. They go that extra length. So after that, we've got BioShock Infinite Developer Diary. I don't want to watch that because I'm trying to stay as far away from anything as I can, because when I get it, I'm just going to fall in love, because you know that's going to be good. And then we've got a Saints Row trailer, which I'm not too bothered about until it comes out. So that's pretty much all the news on that site. We'll move over to a different one now. Let's have a see what we've got here. So I'm moving swiftly over to GamesRadar.com. So let's have a see what we've got here. So the first story is Halloween related, which I'm not too interested in. Then we've got a couple of iPad reviews, which means nothing to me because I don't own an iPad. And then we've got The Sims 3 Pets for 360, PS3 and 3DS. Seriously? How do they get away with releasing these pile of shit games? I don't get it. I was on an island when that boat sailed away when Sims was originally released, and everybody got behind it because you could simulate a life with these stupid fucking people. And to me, that is dull. What is duller than playing a game that simulates a dull life? I mean, that to me is like watching Big Brother. You're sitting in a room watching a TV of people sitting in a room. If that isn't the dullest thing you could physically watch, I don't know what is. And the people that do are the same people that are walking around dragging the knuckles and, you know, stopping us from evolving. But let's have a look here. Infamous Festival of Blood review. So this is DLC for Infamous 2. A game I wanted to do a guide for, but LoveFilm never sent it me, so I'm probably not going to do it now. Then we've got more Halloween stuff. Then we've got first footage of Ace Attorney film hits the internet. Jesus Christ, as if they're making a film to that. Then there's some Arkham City stuff, mission guides, which is kind of cool if you need it. I've done all those missions though, so it's no use to me, but if you're in need of videos and you can't find them on YouTube, Games Radar does do them. A nice little promotion there for them. Then we've got the Pixel Junk side-scroller review, more Bioshock Infinite, and not too much on that site then, so I can move over to the oasis of knowledge that is IGN, that does everything from, you know, blatantly promoting sexism and all its other great stuff by putting a woman on for people to stare at because they think that the average gamer is some dude who lives in his basement, has never seen a female, never talked to one, so he just stares at the pretty lady on the pictures as she tells him about games. And it works because millions of people eat it up because that's what we're like. We're a bunch of primitives. So let's have a see. The 8 worst advertising tie-ins in video games. That's an interesting ploy. I'll never forget when I first played, I think it was Tony Hawk Underground, and they had the advertisements for recent movies in theatres because they keep updating them even though the game's dead, which seems preposterous to me, but if you pay for them licensings, you might as well make the most of it. Dark Souls, how to beat the last boss. Can't defeat Gwyn, or Gwyn, whatever it is. Let IGN's wiki show you how to defeat the final boss of the game. Shall we have a little look at this? There's a lot of people wanting me to do a guide to this, but there's already a bunch of good ones on YouTube, and I've no interest in playing it at the minute because it just looks so damn dull. And I know that's going to offend a lot of people who love it. Don't get me wrong, guys, I get what you like about it, and it's one of those games that if you get into it you probably fall in love, but it just, nothing appeals. So let's see what it says. What is the final boss? That is amazing if that's true. So I'm looking at these pictures here for the people that can't tell. The final boss just looks like a dude. That is, I love that. I have so much more respect for this game now because of that. There is nothing worse to me than having a super cool character turn into a giant pile of shit. I hate it when they turn into giant monsters. I just don't understand why we have to see these massive apparitions for it to feel like an epic boss fight. You get one guy who's designed well and has awesome moves and is an absolute badass, and he's way cooler than any 7-winged giant plant, you know, with a Ferrari for a face. It's just unnecessary, and this guy looks beast, Lord of the Cinder. So apparently he attacks you when you enter the room. And he's got a whole bunch of ways to kill you. That's quite a page of writing to take him on. And judging by the guide on this, it doesn't look like a very long game if you know what you're doing. Which is probably the story of every game, except for the ridiculous ones. So let's have a see. Any more news before this video ekes out? Because there is a part 2 to this, but I will be talking strategy then, because we actually get out of the tank. So let's keep scrolling down. Hidden features in iOS 5. The Wolverine will be unlike any other superhero film. What does that mean? It's going to be good. Didn't. Modern Warfare 3 disc stolen from a factory. Now this is interesting because some dudes actually nicked it off the assembly line. And don't get me wrong, I think I'd be tempted to, even though I'm not a giant criminal. But this has happened for every release that Activision's had in the Call of Duty franchise, apparently. And they're terrified that it's going to leak out onto the torrents. Absolutely terrified. One pirate who was allegedly caught playing a copy claims he was fined $5,000 and faces a permanent ban from the online play. He said, "Do not buy Modern Warfare 3 before release date. They will come get you." I already went through it. And he wrote this on Craigslist. What a boss. But yeah, turns out breaking the embargo date is something Activision takes real fucking serious. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope the video helped get you through that kind of dull level. And you take care now.